Okay, so we're gonna do this response video from the police, but I think Ben talks about it, so we're not gonna watch the whole. I don't know how long it is, but it doesn't matter. Let's just check it out. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe. If you're on Twitch, give me a follow. Let's just do this, shall we?
In Cedar Hills community regarding some videos currently circulating on social media.
So now I will offer a response to their response. There's a lot of new information in this response that I've been wanting to get for a long time, so we'll go over that first. One of the main questions in my video was, why did I get swatted for...
What was that? Napoleon Dynamite? That's what his hairdo looks like, right? Tell me I'm wrong, but he looks kind of like that.
Stealing the Legos, when this wasn't a mystery to the police officers, and they knew that I didn't steal the Legos, that Josh stole the Legos.
He basically stole a $200,000 collection of Star Wars Legos.
Technically, I don't know if they knew anything. We don't know what exactly the police were told. I think sometimes when he's talking to the police, he was wasting his own breath. The police are there for a reason, and then when you start talking to them, most of that goes in one ear, goes out the other, and then they just keep repeating the same shit. Can't be here, you're trespassed. To them, the story is going to sound ridiculous. They think, okay, you should just get a lawyer, stop harassing the guy. That's what they're thinking.
But still, why did they raid my house for stealing the Legos when there's an overwhelming amount of evidence that Josh stole the Legos? When I requested the body cam footage of this to try to find the answers myself, they redacted everything, and they claimed it was to protect the victims. However, one of my friends set up a GoPro as we were getting swatted, and we caught the entire conversation on camera.
Included in the warrant are Legos.
For 3 months, the police department's answer has been, this redaction is important because it protects Josh, the victim of this case. However, we can clearly see that the police are looking for Legos and they saw no Legos. And they redacted this because they were embarrassed that they made such a stupid decision to swat the wrong person. They were so embarrassed of swatting my house for stealing the Legos that in all of the police reports, it is completely redacted. The police department wants this information hidden so bad that they're willing to break the law to hide this from everyone. The only reason I know about it is because the receipt I got the night I was released from jail and my friend's GoPro that was recording. So even though I've been asking them for 3 months why I got swatted, they finally came up with an answer, which is the Airbnb host told them that I stole the Legos.
During contact with the Airbnb owner, the owner reported overhearing conversations about possible stolen Legos. Specifically, officers wrote in the search.
Okay, so they rented a place from people, and these kids just came out and said, hey, listen, we stole a bunch of Legos. Thanks for the place. That makes no sense.
Search warrant affidavit. The homeowner also disclosed that he could hear multiple individuals inside the residence speaking about possibly stolen Lego toys they had taken. Based on that information, officers added a request within the search warrant affidavit seeking authorization to also search for and seize possible stolen property, including Lego merchandise.
So you went in there with a rifle, guns drawn, and been like, hey, we're here to get Legos. Police, let yourself be known. Otherwise, we're going to pull a hole through you for Legos. Come on. Come on. This is ridiculous. This is so fucking ridiculous.
4th District Judge Roger W. Griffin reviewed and approved the search warrant.
I always like giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I will take the police officer's word on this, but something fishy is going on here, and everything can just be cleared up if you unredact the audio and let everyone see the truth. Also, after we got raided and the police officers found no Legos, all of this footage has been redacted too. And my guess is if the police unredact this footage, we will find out the answers once and for all. While we were getting swatted, one of the police officers decided to injure me for absolutely no...
Before we get into the injury, the redaction parts are ridiculous. And the fact that they were doing shit like pulling them over, or when they were trying to serve the papers, the cop went and gave the guy the paperwork and denied it. It's to go to court, bro. All you have to do is just take it. After you're served, you're served. You can't just be like, no, I don't want it. No. Throw it on the ground. Once you're served, you're served. That's the way it's supposed to work.
He claims it's because I was trying to make a fast movement.
Don't move like that. You understand me? Don't move like that.
Stand still. Everybody chill.
But when we replay the footage, you can clearly see I was not making any fast movements. However, the police department has an answer to this.
During Snyder's detention, Lieutenant Addison took hold of Snyder's right arm. Lieutenant Adamson later reported that he felt Snyder tense his arm, at which point Adamson moved Snyder's right arm behind his back to place him into custody.
The police department has made it clear I did not, in fact, make any quick movements like the police officer claims I did, so the police officer was lying, but not fully, because I did tense my arm. However, he lunges at me extremely fast before he even touches me, so how could he even know that I was tensing my arm before he even grabs me? That doesn't make any sense. There's only one solution. This police officer has psychic powers, and he could tell that my arm was tensing up before grabbing me. However, this makes no sense, because if the police officer did truly have psychic powers, he would have known that we were not the thieves, Josh and Brandon were the thieves.
This has gotten to the point where, okay, $200,000 for Legos, having the small claims court case that they won, and then they're trying to resue them, became a whole thing. These cops, they went way beyond anything that I've ever heard of. Actual criminals that have injured people, robbed stores here in the city, that have basically went in, got arrested, went into the police station, came right back out, and was able to do something similar and got arrested, same thing, 10 times. These kids got pulled over 10 times in one day, and they're just sitting there trying to serve papers to a fucking guy. I mean, this is ridiculous. And then they got swatted. Yeah, like it's just.
So this can't be the case either. I'm trying to have an open mind with these different possibilities of what this could be, but literally the only outcome left is that this police officer injured me for no reason. However, the police have another response to this of why I must be lying.
In the X-ray image displayed by Mr. Snyder in that video, a small L is visible in the upper right-hand corner of the X-ray. The L indicates the image is that of the left shoulder. The video shows Lieutenant Adamson handling Snyder's right arm during the arrest.
Yes, the stock footage I used to show what a dislocated shoulder is.
I can't. Here's a stock photo just to show what it looks like in general. And they're going, oh, semantics.
Image that's clearly not mine because I didn't go to the hospital. I went to jail.
Yes.
So how could I have taken this picture? But anyways, the stock image I used is of a left shoulder when my shoulder that got injured was my right shoulder. When I was editing this, I like to think highly of my audience that they would have known that this was a stock image and I wouldn't have to spoon feed every tiny detail to my audience. But now I realize that there's another portion of my audience called the American Fork Police Department that maybe I do have to spoon feed in every single piece of information to. So I'm going to use this as constructive criticism, and in every single episode going forward now that I know that the American Fork Police Department's watching, I will be forced to spoon feed every single detail. As a professional slackliner, dislocating my shoulder is almost a monthly thing for me.
Ow.
The whole weight of my arm is just on this bone.
Boon.
3 days before I got arrested, I had a really bad ski accident where I had a really bad dislocation of my shoulder, and any movement at all would have dislocated it. So I will say here, I don't think that the police officer was purposely trying to injure me. I think to a normal person, this would have been fine. But for me in particular, this was not good, but it was still unjustified. And the police officer was just making up an excuse, and now they're making up an excuse to defend it. Another thing I find shocking is the chief of police, even after reviewing the dash cam footage.
Bro, there's so many things that happened in the last episode. I'm still dumbfounded. I'm just listening to him recap everything, and I'm like, these cops went above and beyond to be, I can't even think of the word. Basically, like, acting as Josh and the other guy, Brandon Best, the security firm. Bro, I've never seen anybody be pulled over that many times. And this is coming from a guy that was an addict, okay? I had been arrested. The police never came 12 times in a row, and it just pulled me out of a car just because. And I was let go afterward, but they gave me a reason. They're like, suspected of having drugs on you. I didn't have any, but the point is like, they gave me a reason. And I probably gave them a reason because, I was with somebody that we found out was working with the cops saying that I did have drugs on me. I've got 11 years clean, so that doesn't matter. But on the other hand, to play devil's advocate, if you look at the way the police probably did look at it, as if these kids were up to something and they were harassing these two guys. Still, they went beyond excessive. They were literally going through the book of laws. So we're gonna pick out a law. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay, we'll get a different one. That doesn't work. Okay, like the GoFundMe thing. I cut down the poster that they made, threw it in the car. The kid with the phone just grabbed his phone. Oh, I was just trying to turn it off because my wallet was on there. Dude, ridiculous shit that happened.
Says that we ran a stop sign.
Ridiculous.
Richardson initiated a traffic
Oh,
stop
and
on the
then the
vehicle
stop
for
sign.
failing to stop before the stop line at a stop sign
There's like 3
and
seconds.
failing to
you can
stop
count it.
completely at that stop sign.
It's not
The
even a
chief of
rolling
police
stop.
looked at this video and said,
One,
we ran a stop
2,
sign.
3, 4, 5. 5 seconds.
And now he's using that to say, this was
That was 5 seconds. I don't know how many times I've drove and that was 3 seconds or 4 seconds. I've known people that have done rolling stops and just roll up, kind of slow down to a crawl, and then go. And the cop was behind him and went the other way. Ridiculous.
a legal traffic stop. The police officers did nothing wrong. At this point, we thought the best thing to do was to take Josh to court so he can be legally accountable for the crimes he committed. However, to do that, we are first required to serve him court papers. So we did what the law told us to do. I got a process server and we went to his house to do this the legal way. However, Josh did not want to do this the legal way and instead called the police on us.
Joshua Johnson contacted police and reported he was going to shoot someone as a result of the ongoing harassment.
I didn't hear that.
Joshua Johnson contacted police and reported he was going to shoot someone as a result of the ongoing harassment.
And you didn't question that? You weren't like, hey, what? I mean, it's one thing if somebody's harassing you and you have anxiety or whatever, but to be like literally, I'm going to shoot them. They weren't even on the property. They were going to serve them papers, and then the one police officer brought it to them. They redacted everything. They even redacted him saying that. And then the fact that the chief, for him to be like, oh, he was going to shoot somebody, you can't threaten somebody else. And obviously they knew who he's threatening, or yourself. Those are two things that they can arrest you for. So for him to be like, I'm going to shoot this guy, and whoever else is in the car, oh, don't worry, we'll arrest the person that's in the car. Because that's what happened, right? If I remember correctly, they arrested.
Multiple officers immediately responded to the area.
Josh was so scared of going to court that he would rather shoot us than accept these court papers. Josh's logic here is that if he can murder the process server and if he can murder me, then he can get away with his crimes because there'll be no one to sue him in court. However,
That actually probably was what it was. But the police probably didn't look at it that way. Still, they should have done something. I've heard of this happening before where the police got sick of one person, literally brought them to the county line. This happened to my uncle in Florida, and they brought him to the county line, dropped him off there, told him to get a ride, said, if you ever come into Florida again, you will go to jail for this many years. He never went back. Now, they could have done something like that. Because they were like, okay, this is getting out of hand. Please give him the paperwork. And then escort the YouTubers out of the state. There you go. They didn't do that. They decided to arrest
sadly
him.
for Josh,
Should've sworn.
murder is illegal. And now he just admitted his plans to the police officers. The American Fork Police should at least be arresting Josh for trying to use murder as a way to get out of court. But sadly, for some reason, they arrested me instead.
If your hands find you back. Am I being arrested? Right now. Really?
Something about this seems off, and all of the answers are in the body cam footage. However, they redacted all the body cam footage. So this is where I think if we all come together as a community, we can somehow convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this footage so we can find out why they arrested me and not the guy who threatened to murder me. However, the American Fork Police does not want to unredact the footage right now, and now have made up a new excuse.
It's another thing, too. If this guy was so upset and bothered, you remember when they first pulled up and he was outside talking on the phone, probably to the police. He waved inside. Everything's all fine. Hey, how you doing? I think his kid was outside playing. If he was so bothered, had so much anxiety that he was going to do that, wouldn't he be like inside barricading the door or something? You would think that if somebody was that stressed out, but they felt like they had to physically harm somebody for harassment, they would be.
Of why I was the one justified being arrested.
Officer Sumbot contacted the Marion County Circuit Court in Oregon to verify the legitimacy of the paperwork. The court confirmed that the case was indeed legitimate, but that papers had already been served and no hearing date had yet been scheduled.
What? No, I just watched that video. The cop called and they said, yes, it's a small claims case, ongoing. They're just waiting for the paperwork to be served. And then the cop went and served it to the guy, and the guy rejected it, and they redacted the police footage. So what the fuck is that?
Said the reason they arrested me and not Josh this day is because they called to confirm if this was a real court case, and they said it was real. However, the papers have already been served, and now I'm doing this solely to get YouTube content. And if that's true, I would like to see footage of it. They released all the raw footage, and that part doesn't seem to be in the raw footage.
It's already been to court, or are you allowed to tell me kind of where they're at with the case?
There is no hearing date set, and there hasn't been a hearing in the case yet. All I see is the claim that was filed. I don't see proof of service or anything. The hearing wouldn't be set.
Yeah, she's about to say the hearing wouldn't be set because it hasn't been served yet. And of course, there wouldn't be a judge yet because it hasn't been served. They served the paperwork because this is like a civil case.
Until a response is filed by the defendant.
Okay, so the defendant needs to be served with papers before the case will, I guess, start.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your help. That's all for today. Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, bye.
Right here, the police officer admits that it is March 10th.
On March 10th, 2026,
However, you can see here that Josh doesn't get served until 3 days later,
Oh my God, this is.
March 13th. So how could Josh have already been served on March 10th if he didn't get served until March 13th? Unless Josh is a time traveler. There's only one way to clear this all up. American Fork Police Department, show me the time machine. So now they say that I have done all the check marks which
Oh my
constitute
God.
stalking. Let's go through them.
individual commits stalking if the individual intentionally or knowingly engages in a course of conduct directed at a specific
Okay, the police could look at this as a stalking case. They're hearing one side saying, I'm being stalked. The other side is saying the other guy's a criminal. And there's paperwork from another state saying that he was trespassed multiple times. And I'm not taking the police or the corporation side. I'm just saying that's how they probably look at it. Because one side's lying and the other side's trying to get it taken care of. But the way they're presenting it seems over the top. Because they keep mentioning one guy's a criminal. He sold Legos, $200,000 worth of Legos. And they keep saying it over and over to the police. They're like, this is ridiculous. We know this guy. So I think in a way, Ben and his team talked a little too much, especially when they got arrested. They should have not said a damn word. They should have just said, you know what? We plead the fifth. We need a lawyer. That's it. That's all. Nothing else. But on the other hand, I think the police were overly excessive. And I think if those guys stayed there much longer in that town, they probably would end up in jail for a year for no reason. Because it was getting to the point where every time the cops came, they came up with some bullshit excuse.
individual.
So yes, I did do an action that was targeted at a specific individual, but that's what's required by the court if I want to take someone to court. If someone steals your stuff and you go through the legal process to take them to court, it is not considered stalking. I have a right as an American to sue him.
Is
That's
reckless
true.
as to whether that course of conduct would cause a reasonable person to fear for the individual's own safety or the safety of another.
The second check mark is that if a reasonable person
That's the only part that I seen as something the police could look at. Okay, it's harassment or stalking, and they're not leaving, and that they keep coming to the same property. Police look at it that way. Whereas naively, Ben and his team are looking at it like, we're in the right. You guys should be helping us. The real world doesn't work that way, unfortunately. That's when he should have got a lawyer and had the lawyer take care of that part. Just saying.
would be scared. The police are claiming that since this action made Josh scared, this checkmark is complete. However, they have completely forgotten about the term reasonable. As we can see, Josh is not a reasonable person.
That's true.
This is someone who multiple
That's true.
times has tried to silence someone by accusing them of being on heroin.
That is true. He is not reasonable. For instance, he literally called the police like 7 times in one day. Every time that they went there, they had to make up things on the spot. Like, oh, well, is it a violation? No. Is it a code violation? No. No. Noise ordinance violation? Nope. Well, you know what? Come with us. You know, it's just so stupid.
The crazy thing, they told me that they took over that location because the owners were using the location to fund their heroin addiction.
What?
Yeah, and that's how they took it over, and saying they had like a pigeon in there that was crapping all over the Legos and it smelled bad, all this stuff.
This is someone who threatened to murder me just for trying to serve him papers. This is not a reasonable person.
That's the reason why the lady and the husband have got a court case against Bricks, whatever the fuck they're called. I can't remember. Bricks and Minifigs. That's right. That's the reason why they have a defamation case and some other shit.
It is not reasonable to threaten to murder someone just for serving papers.
That's
A
true.
reasonable person would accept the papers, so that second checkbox does not meet the requirements.
That's true. He's
I
got a
even
point
tried
there.
explaining this to one of the police officers early on.
What the law says is if the average person would feel
See, this is where he wasted his breath. Those police don't care. They're not listening to him. They hate people like that because when you tell police, I know the law and that type of shit, they get sick of that and they won't even listen. Dude, you're just wasting your breath. You've already told them, why you're there. They don't believe you. They didn't even believe that he had a process server. That one cop kept telling them, well, get somebody that is impartial. Well, that's what she is. Yeah, but go get somebody else. Fuck you, fucking cop.
safe by our behaviors. So I think he's feeling unreasonably unsafe. A reasonable person would not feel unsafe in the situation. Well, I can say the same thing. I feel unsafe trying to conduct business with him, and he calls the police on me to hide. I feel unsafe because of that.
Yes.
Because we had a 3-hour search in our car. He said we had heroin in our car yesterday. We had a 3-hour search in our car. That makes me feel unsafe. I think that's reasonable for me to feel unsafe. It's not reasonable for him to feel unsafe.
So Josh is actually the one who said he was going to murder me if I take him to court. But now I'm the one that's being looked into for threatening to murder Josh. How does this make any sense?
Mr. Johnson alleged
really
that
does.
Mansell had hired Benjamin Snyder to harass, stalk, vandalize the store, threaten to murder the manager of the store.
Now let's go to the heroin claim.
Oh my
We got
God.
pulled over by the police and they claimed that we had heroin on us.
Oh my God. This is going to get even more messy, isn't it?
The search of the person because
Most of this footage is redacted, so again, there's a big mystery
course it
of
is.
what happened.
Of course.
Can we all come together and convince the American Fork Police Department to unredact this so we can find out the truth? However, what the police is claiming now is that they did not get a call saying that we had heroin on us. Instead, they could just tell from the second we pulled over that our eyes were glossy.
During the interaction, Officer Fraughton indicated he believed Shaw's eyes appeared glossy and expressed concern regarding possible impairment.
If we look back on the raw footage, this is what the police officer said his first interaction with us was like.
Good with these guys being able to drive?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't see anything clear as day with Tyler that I noticed.
What's the goal?
Right now, yeah, I was gonna scare him a little bit and let him go with all I really was gonna
Do
do.
we have charges, or are we just tired of them being annoying?
It seems hard to take what the chief of police is saying.
Okay, I'm going to tell another story. When I was in the attic, there was an undercover cop. He was part of the narcotics division. He told me and a friend of mine, I'm looking in your eyes and you look like you've been using. Honestly, that day I was dope sick and I hadn't been using. And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And that was it. That was all. Cop never said anything else about it. So for these guys to say one thing and then go up to the guy and be like, we see it on your face. Oh, well, it changed their story altogether. They kept saying, well, you look like your eyes are glossy. That's another thing. They're probably tired. They've been standing there for hours waiting for these cops to stop tearing the car apart and everything else. Point is, this is all ridiculous. What it is. I'm just flabbergasted in what I'm hearing.
Seriously, because so far almost everything he said is a lie. So the only way we can actually find out the truth is if we unredact everything.
True.
We already
yes.
know the victim's name is Joshua Johnson. Why do we have to keep that protected? His name is already out there.
True.
None of these redactions are protecting anything except for the police. And now I want to acknowledge my friend Sheldon's arrest.
The group stated they were supporting a GoFundMe campaign for a dying man. One of the individuals later identified as Sheldon Norcross. Officer Richardson then decided to seize Norcross's phone, pending the approval of a search warrant, in order to preserve potential evidence and prevent the deletion or all.
Pending an approval of a search warrant. In other words, I'm going to take your phone, and then after I get your phone, I'm going to get a search warrant to look through it. But the kid did say, yes, I'll give it to you. But then he was trying to lock it, turn it off. And the guy just grabs him like, don't do that. Don't do that. Trying to destroy evidence. Get the fuck out of here.
Alteration of any data. According to Officer Richardson's reports, when Norcross was informed
reports are
that the
bullshit.
phone was going to be seized,
My opinion.
Norcross immediately began manipulating the device.
The police officer claims that Sheldon was arrested because he opened his phone to start deleting evidence. However, we can clearly see in the footage Sheldon's thumb is heading towards that lock button to lock his phone. His phone was open when he pulled it out, and the phone was transitioning from on to off, not from off to on. From this response, it almost seems like the police officers didn't even watch the video. So American Fork Police Department, if I'm your teacher, here's your homework. First off, learn the facts of what actually happened. Second off, stop lying about the facts. No one's believing it. The third thing is unredact the audio that makes the police look bad.
Yes.
Some of the best lawyers in the United States are reaching out to me right now, so eventually this is going to get released. Wouldn't you just like to get this over with sooner rather than dragging this out? The more we drag this out, the more content we get, so this only benefits me to drag this out. It doesn't benefit you. If you unredact the illegally redacted parts now, you'll win over audience support much faster. It's kind of funny because a lot of you guys probably think I'm like trying to like make fun of this other cop by how he was talking.
Brother, do you mind turning up the volume? Holy, it's actual ASMR.
ASMR,
Wow.
that's what it is.
I cannot really hear him. Why is he whispering?
No, I'm actually just like super sick right now. I haven't been sleeping because I'm trying to get out part 3 as fast as I can. And that's caused me just to like stay up all night, every night and not sleep. And now I'm sick and have no voice. I don't know why that police officer was talking with such
We
a
steal from
low, quiet voice, but that's why I am, at least. I wasn't making fun of him. I literally am just genuinely sick. If you want to see part 3, subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/recklessben. Part 2 will be up there very soon. Part 2, I'm only dealing with misdemeanors, but part 3 is when they start accusing me of felonies, so it gets insane. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to crank out videos in the meantime until part 3 is done. But thanks for all the support, and let's find Brian's Legos.
I'm not going to waste too much time. This is crazy. The shit is nuts. My opinion is the cops overstepped, overreached, whatever. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe. Talk to you all later. I'm Dethfender. Peace.